And welcome back to the channel. I feel like it's been so long since I've done any sort of install. I think since doing the floors before Texas was the last kind of working on cars. Everything else has been drift events and filming other stuff, but hey, we're back. So it's a beautiful Sunday here to get you guys some content. Obviously we've got Diesel Boy joining us, sun baking it up. Say hi to the vlog. Yeah, okay. But today I decided to be a little bit of different. Usually I never set up the shade, I just bake in the sun. So we got the Highway Mob tent out today. We were working on the truck baking the other day, so I'm like, you know what, let me try and make it a little bit easier for myself. That's what I was thinking too. But as you could tell by the title already, we have some arms and some things to dial in on the C35. I got these from a buddy of mine. Shout out to Jason Frank. Usually I would just take the ones off the car, extend them myself, but these not only are already run and extended, proven and tested, but they have brand new ball joints in them as well. So as well as being reinforced, not terrible welds. I don't even know who did them, to be quite honest, which usually wouldn't run, but Jason was parting them out and well, had to hop on the deal. So these are, I believe, 1 inch or 1 1/4 inch extended lower control arms, which is going to widen the track width of the entire car, pushing out the bottom of the wheel. So I also have some wheels that we are going to test fit later today once the suspension is dialed in. But I want to take the front coilovers apart as well. Some of the top hardware is missing, so hopefully we can find some of that and drill out, because a couple of the heads are broken, and get this car drift ready. Alright y'all, it's been about an hour or so, just kind of taking my time. Had to get some parts and stuff. Also taking out some wheels. I just put them in the garage because I gotta skedaddle. I'll show you here in a second. But yeah, just been taking my time. Everything came apart pretty easy. I used some PB Blaster and stuff. That made it really easy, but I made the mistake of not getting extended tie rod ends. So your boy's toe was looking like that while the other wheel was straight, because I didn't take that lower off yet. So what I did was take the end off, and I'm going to go to the auto parts store. I was told that 2006 Nissan Maxima, they come stock with, I guess, really long extended, or they come stock with really long tie rod ends, which would count as extended tie rod ends. If I can't find those, then I'm just gonna hit AutoZone and go get some tube steel and then cut and weld and extend them myself. So I'm bringing the tie rod end with me, and we'll make sure that we get something that is pretty close. If not, then we will get some material to extend them, and we'll show you how to do that, and then hopefully get this car back together. But track width definitely widened it a decent amount. I put them next to each other. I'll show you before I do the other side, but you know, it was pretty good out there. They are 1.5 inch extended. Forgot if I told you that earlier, but yeah, let me go to the auto parts store, see what we can find, and then hopefully come back and get this car together before the evening. And 1.5 hours later, finally back at home with the right tie rod end. So didn't have to get any tube stock, luckily. Shout out to the boy Miles, 2-valve Miles, R32 Miles, S13, S14, everything Miles. This is the part number. So I believe this is for a 89 to 94 Nissan Maxima, and they come much longer than stock. So that's gonna hopefully work out. There's a decent amount of threads on it. I will say, if you are gonna do extended lowers, and you're not doing a full, I guess, angle kit, most lowers that I've seen are extended 1 inch. These are extended 1.5 inches. If you're just doing 1 inch, these are going to be perfect. I'm going to see how it is with 1.5 inches. I might still have to extend them or look into getting extended or longer inner tie rod ends, which I know they do sell. Drift HQ is also not far down the road, so probably could get it in a day or so. But also, real quick, give you a quick breakdown. S13, S14, these should be all the tools that you need to use. I used a pickle fork to get the lower control arm out. I tried using an air hammer, couldn't really get too much leverage on it. Use the small hammer, put this underneath the lower control arm and the knuckle, and then I gave it some taps with the hammer, couldn't get it off. About one tap with the sledge and boom, they popped apart. So you'll also need a 17, a couple bolts and nuts. This is for the caster arm, which is also the tension arm. It's an Allen on the top and nut on the bottom. Not sure why. Not a big fan of Allen nut stuff, but in Japan they seem to do a lot. These are to get the castle nut cotter pins out, 1/2 inch. 22 is the size for the lower control arm nut, castle nut that goes to the knuckle, and then, you know, just your normal 21, 19, 17, all that jazz. So this is the 10.5. I think they're 10 and 9.5 or 10 and 10.5, I forgot, but it's definitely going to be a little bit too wide. I did try and test fit the 9.5 on this side, but with the S15 bigger brakes, I'm going to have to run a spacer. So this is the spacer that I've had on it currently. I think it's a 25 mil, so it should be an inch, but I might try like a 15 mil or even like a 10 mil slip on and just see if we can get the KFs on. But enough talking from me. I'm going to tear this side apart. We'll get those lowers on, test fit some stuff, see if we can dial in the alignment just a little bit, and then hopefully get this thing on the ground. I did PB blast everything, so it really is not rusty, but it had some surface rust and stuff. I don't know when this suspension components were taken apart. Came in clutch, seemed to help a little bit, and well, that side's been soaking for a couple hours. So highway mob clutch with the tent today, supplying some shade. As you can see, it's toast. I'm still sweating. I literally just came back out in the sun. I'm already sweating. So time to hop on the driver's side. I'll catch you guys in just a couple. Driver's side was a bit of a pain just because I couldn't get that lower ball joint out of the knuckle. But before we put the other side on, or I guess the side that I just showed you, I wanted to show you guys the difference in length. So we'll line these up. There you go. Pretty big difference. The reason it's extended here, not in the middle, is because this retains the exact same location for the caster or tension arm. Mine are adjustable, which is pretty nice, so I can also do bottom caster as well as also a little bit from the top hat. But everything else, boom, same spot. These two are for the sway bar, and then those are in the same spot. Tension arm, same spot. And then you can see, yo, what is this? What is this? That is a bump stop. So this will allow me to get a bit more angle, allow the knuckle to go a bit further where the tie rod end links go and max out. I'll show you guys a little bit later, maybe once we have a wheel on, but I just wanted to make sure that I had the center of the steering wheel. So I put the steering wheel straight, or at least where this was straight as possible. I went all the way to the left. It was 1.5 turns before it locked out. I went 1.5 back to where I started, and then luckily I went the other way and it was 1.5. So at least I know my steering wheel to my rack is centered. This is pretty close to being centered. I'll align it and stuff once we get both sides done, but I just wanted to show you guys a little bit of what I've been doing just to kind of make sure that everything's equal, make sure I can turn left and right the same amount, as well as make sure that nothing is binding. So we're gonna throw this arm on in just a second. Like I said, this is the part number for those extended tie rod ends. They thread on no problem. Come with a brand new locking nut as well as a grease nipple, so that's pretty nice. But time to get these on. Once everything's on, show you guys what we're up to. Both side lowers are now on. Just took the jack stands out. Sadly, the tie rod ends both are on like 2 threads each. It is going to be cutting it pretty close. This side is like a little bit towed out, and I was hoping I could get them pretty close to 0. This side is also a bit towed out. So I know that these wheels fit with a little bit of space before. I just want to put them on the ground and see maybe at least I can move them around, just because these aren't going to fit. Big tire, not only a 45 sidewall, but not much stretch at all. So we're just going to see how this looks, see if we have any issues. I am going to have to move it around and stuff before getting tires for the other KFs, if I'm even going to use those. So that's like sitting on the tire, and I'm not even all the way down. I wasn't watching this side, so yeah, I don't think I'm gonna go down any more than that because it's already sitting on there. So it looks like we will have to look for some wheels to, I guess, have the car sit on for a little bit, or just get tires for these 17s. I could just raise the car, but I wanted to go 17s because the 18s are monster truck in my opinion, and that's what these Vaugards are. So I'm gonna play around with, I guess, some other wheels and such. Probably tomorrow extend the tie rod ends, because then it will allow me to dial in my alignment. But I think I'm going to have to run probably like 9 or 9.5 wide with like decently positive offset, which I know that these KFs, although they're 17s and great spec, are pretty close to 0 for both the 9.5 and the 10 wide. What I might do is either make a new hole on the knuckle coilover side, which will give me a little bit more tilt as well, because it looks like we're maybe 8 to 10-ish right now. I'd say more on the 8-ish side, which is not bad. That's kind of what I was going for, like no camber in the rear, maybe like 10-12 in the front. So by doing that coilover, a new coilover hole instead of slotting it, I'll show you guys if I do it what I mean, but it will bring the wheel in just a little bit more, and I'll be able to either run the Vaugards, which are 18s, or throw some tires on these 17 KFs and put those on. So let me figure out what I'm gonna do, and I'll catch you guys in a little bit. It's only been like an hour since I got all this side apart and put it all back together and stuff, so not too bad. Planned on having the car done by now, but you know, never works out like that. And it is cleanup time. Your boy is picking up. I was just test fitting a bunch of different wheels. I have a box of spacers, seeing if any of these would fit. I think 25 mil is the ones that I had on the car, the ones that actually have to be on the car right now. If I had some 15 mils, they probably would have been ideal. I got on the phone with Miles, and he said they make 10 mil. So I'm between getting 10 mil spacers or extended studs, and then just running like slip-on, or 2 slip-ons, 2 5 mils, 5 mil and a 3 mil, something along those lines. Basically as small a spacer as I can, just so it clears the brake. I guess I could shave the brake too if I wanted, but I don't think I want to do that. So I was gonna end it here, but it's Sunday. I got some plans, and I'm like, you know what? Instead of waking up, giving you guys a half-ass vlog tomorrow, I will finish tomorrow vlog, and then I'm already way behind schedule on vlogs. So, oh well, I guess what's one more day. So I'm gonna clean up. Sun's going down. Probably gonna meet up with the boys later tonight, and then tomorrow morning I'll come out, probably extend those tie rod ends, so we finally have adjustability for the alignment, as well as figuring out the situation for making these Johns fit. Maybe posting, see if I can get some cheap tires from somebody. I know I'm probably gonna have to run a decent stretch, and then also maybe re-drilling for the coilover tomorrow. Give it a little more tilt, fender to lip, and then get on the street. So I want to finish this vlog with it driving, knock on a little bit of wood real quick, because I feel like I always say that and then screw myself, and I just want to give you guys a full vlog. So thanks for coming along today. Like I said, I'm gonna clean up, and we'll catch you guys tomorrow. And it is the next day. I've got a kind of jump start a little bit. I wouldn't say early start because it is about noon, but I started to get the wheels off the front. I did order tires for those, so hopefully we will be able to throw the wheels on today. But like I said in the vlog, we're gonna have to extend the already longer tie rod ends that we got yesterday. So I figured I'd save you guys a little bit of talking and how to. I ended up cutting kind of close to the end. I didn't want to cut super far just because I didn't want this grease getting way too hot. But I did cut them, and then obviously there was threads on the inside. Kind of only goes until like where that block is. So I just filled those, went around, made sure everything was filled and welded through so that I could put this middle piece in. So this is 3/4, 3/4 cold steel, cold rolled steel tubing, which I ended up getting from Tractor Supply. It's like 30 bucks for the entire thing. So I'm only using about 2 inches of it, and the rest will be, I guess, for something else later. But I ended up cutting 1.5 inches off of the steel that I ended up getting, beveled on both sides so that I can weld them in between. I'll show you guys how that's gonna look. Basically like that. So the bevel basically allows it to penetrate all the way in. I'll tack them up on both sides so that we've got the bevel right there touching the middle as well as there. I will go through on a pass, let it cool down a bit just because we don't want the grease inside here getting too hot, because if that happens, well, this ball joint is now going to become super loose and not very good. But once it does cool down a little bit, I am putting it in lukewarm water. You don't want to put it in ice cold water. That will shock it and cause stress cracks throughout the actual metal. So what we're doing is we have lukewarm water, which we are putting the welded pieces in, just to cool them down a little bit, but you don't want to shock them. So it is warm. I was leaving the water out in the sun so that it got a little bit warmer temperatures, but we are going to get on that. I'll probably do both, or I'll do one and show you, and then do the other one off camera. But waiting for them to let me know that the tires have arrived. We'll get those mounted and balanced probably this evening by Mr. S14 himself, and then hopefully put the car on the ground. And just about 2 hours later, we got both sides done. One is on the car and the other we've got right here. So I totally forgot if I filmed when I finished the other one, but here we are. Ball joint is still really tough to move and doesn't move on its own. So what I ended up doing was putting this ball joint in their water, just enough to have where I'm welding out the water. Worked out quite great. Used the grinder, grinded the excess down just a little bit. Hopefully you guys can see this a little bit better, but being that it is steel, I am going to coat it. I thought I was going to coat them black, but I ended up coating the other ones with a can that I thought was black, and it was gray, like flame-proof header spray, something like that. So I already got pink lowers, might as well just keep with the gray. Matches the car, so oh well. It is the next day. Long story short, worked all night last night. Had so many issues, slotted the coilovers, putting everything back together. It was issue after issue after issue. I was up until like almost 1 in the morning out working on the garage. I just figured I'm just gonna go crazy on it. I'll update you guys today. I just tightened some things up, loosened some rear coilovers. I think I'm gonna have to raise the front coilovers like, I don't know, 3-4 threads just to help me with the turn, but here we are. So I did have to cancel my appointment today. I called, I let them know I couldn't make it as soon as they opened. They said they appreciate it. Also, bro, look at all these scratches. That was from last night. Things were getting thrown around, big wind. It is what it is. So yeah, here we are. I have full lock. I'm sure it scrubs just a little bit. We're getting some wind, so I'm trying to kind of keep you out of it right now. I wish the rear would go lower, but it can't. Still pretty decent. Yeah. So super hyped on that, and then alignment tomorrow. So we'll probably start a whole new video and stuff tomorrow when it comes to getting the alignment, because I don't know what I got going on tomorrow, and maybe hit some skids and do some fun stuff. So let me finish up getting a little eye alignment on this and dial in a couple more things. I'll catch you guys in a couple, and maybe we'll go for a ride. And the test drive went amazing. Obviously no alignment, so it was a little bit shaky once I got up to like 65 miles an hour. But got to the gas station, was gonna film, totally forgot my plate. Even though it is registered and insured, I didn't want any issues, saw a cop, and thought he turned in after me. So I'm like, you know what? I'm not gonna film, I'm just gonna come home and start picking up. Kind of looks like some weather's gonna come. Yeah, a little bit over there and stuff. Driving and stuff looked like it. So I know I had left a bunch of stuff out. I need to pick up and clean up before that comes. And then, like I said, I called. Cam has been great. I let him know I wouldn't make it this morning. He was super grateful on that. So just remember, if you guys have an appointment or something with somebody, whether it's a business or not, just give them a heads up if you can't make it. And you know, most of the time they're gonna understand. So I'm probably gonna wash this thing up, depending on the rain. The wheels need to be cleaned anyways. Gotta clean it out. I don't know, it's another transformation. So now I gotta clean it back up, make it nice, and be happy to drive it and stuff again. So I will catch you guys on, I guess, the next video. I had a bunch of issues with this. Couldn't get some things off. Finally did yesterday. Got late, I was hot and sweaty. Had to slot, which takes a while. Had to dial in the top hats, had to dial in the lower control arms with the tension arms and everything else we had, as well as pretty much matching camber. They're about a degree off, but it's as close as I can get it with the fitment, so I cannot complain. A little bit of rubbing, but I think it's actually just the fender liner and stuff. I don't think it's actually the fender. And then I saw a friend I haven't seen in like 4 or 5 years just driving through the neighborhood, and he was walking, so I just brought him home. Does rub with another person in it, but at least for now it will be all right. I don't really know what else. I was thinking about getting some of the BCCs, I think they're called, or BSS. It's like the angle kit for S14s, basically bolts on and pushes the hub out just a little bit, which is going to make it even harder to fit wheels. So I don't know, I was told it helps with angle, with binding, with the tie rods, but I don't really know how much it actually does, because all it does is move it out just a little bit. But I saw like before and after with lock, full lock, and they look the same, so I have no idea. But I hate making these vlogs when they're like 4 days long, just because it seems like I'm dragging it on, even though I got like a couple hours a day to work on this stuff. So it kind of has to be. But hopefully you guys are enjoying the videos. I want to get back to filming stuff. I want to start doing some slide stuff, so stay tuned for that. I know I had mentioned in one of the other vlogs that I might be starting another channel as well, not only behind the scenes stuff, but also just because I've been doing a lot more drift stuff, whether it's with other people or my own. If you've made it this far in the video, well, it might be an Easter egg for something that's coming here soon. So stay tuned. I got some other videos to film this weekend, so there will be following videos after this, and then maybe some videos on the old LS. Stay tuned. Some more C35 content here soon, some drift content, some static boy content, and Tyler's car is going to be picked up from the tuner this week, so, or this following week. So stay tuned for that. We'll do a full breakdown and review, because I know some of you have been asking about it, but I know this is a long part of the video. I'm going to end it here. Like, comment, subscribe. Stay tuned. Love you all. 10K, here we come.